set up a camera to catch my neighbor and everything backfired. I'm looking out my window one day and see my neighbor casually walking into my backyard with my gas can. It was always happening, but today it felt like the last straw. Every time I tried to use my lawnmower, there was barely any gas left in that 5-gallon can. But how could he possibly be using all of it? Back then, security cameras weren't as easy to set up as they are now. So I decided to get a little creative and rig up an old webcam with motion detection software. I left the camera running, and sure enough, there's my neighbor in my backyard just minutes after I'd walked out the door. His face when he spots me through the lens, it was priceless. From that day on, every time I needed to pee, instead of going inside like a normal person, I headed straight for the gas can outside. I made sure not to leave any room for doubt right before I left home for what looked like an extended trip. I showed off my packed bags and did a little car maintenance routine. The neighbor had to notice that something was up. So there it is on my back patio, an empty gas can, clearly meant to be picked up by the nosy thief who's probably been watching me all week. A day later, I get a call from home. Turns out my car broke down, but hey, at least now I could check in and see what happened. When I got back, there was my neighbor with his lawnmower, pulling on that cord like he was trying to start a rocket ship. His face when the mower wouldn't start? It's hard not to laugh, even though it's kind of mean. But things only got better. The guy managed to drive just far enough down the street before his car suddenly stopped working too. Perfect. When I checked my back patio again, there was an empty gas can where I'd left one filled with, well, you know what? The real kicker? This wasn't just about the stolen gasoline. Turns out this neighbor had some arrest warrants and a pretty bad reputation around town. So after getting to know him a little better through community service and stuff like that, I used my connections to get him into a sheriff's ride-along program, all in his name. Let's just say I filled out the paperwork with a lot of enthusiasm. And yes, it worked. Soon enough, the cops were knocking on his door, just as he was finishing up another round of lawn mowing with that faulty can. Classic irony. Guess sometimes you catch more flies with honey than with gas, especially when that gas is empty.